Receiving a couple of breaking news right this moment. All 20 personnel aboard a Turkish military cargo plane C-130. It is a Lockheed Martin made manufactured aeroplane, crashed near the Georgia-Azerbaijan border, have died all. According to the Turkish defense minister, the plane had taken off from Azerbaijan airport en route back to Turkey when the crash occurred. This is a breaking news right this moment. I have received another breaking news. A newly completed 758-meter long bridge, the Hongke Bridge, part of China's G317 national highway network, collapsed just a couple of minutes ago in Sichuan province shortly after opening this bridge. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to SATV's International Affairs. My name is Rashid Kanchan. I will be your host in the studio. I have a very distinguished gentleman, Yar Commodore Ishfaq Elahi Chaudhry, who is very fine-tuned on international affairs. And from Washington, we will have our geopolitical correspondent, Norman Floyd Barnes. I want to begin with Norman because there are something going on in United States internal politics. Democrats parties are divided. 8 leaders has come forward to vote the Republicans to reopen the federal shutdown, and there are few developments also. Norman, would you please share your latest collections of breaking news stories?
Greetings from Washington this morning. The funding bill is headed to its final approval today. The House Democrats and Republicans are now ready to take a vote. It appears that the House Republicans will be successful in their move to push the bill, while the Democrats are saddened that they are not going to be able to get the health care review on the table for a vote. The approval will probably take place of the budget will probably get approved by the House this week and shortly signed by the president, which means the budget and the government will be back operationally, at least for 30 days up until the end of January. At that time, they will have to review the budget again, and hopefully they will have some idea what's going on, they're going to do in terms of funding. Unfortunately, the healthcare issue is going to still stick around, and we are already seeing some indications from the health care providers that the rates of coverage is going to double. Person paying $500, now we'll be paying $1,700 for health care, which is most case out of reach of most people. So there's a lot of conversation. The Democrats feel very let down because their comrades conceded to the Republicans, and the Republicans appear to be getting another opportunity to push their will. Tuesday was a holiday, Veterans Day here, so there was not much work done on the House floor. And the airlines, unfortunately, with this shutdown is going to increase the number of flights canceled from 4% going up to 6%. And the numbers will probably go higher, which means we're now getting into the holidays. Even with the bill passing, the airports will be closing down most of their air traffic controllers, particularly at the largest airport, and at the time we have holidays coming up. So that is the latest. The other part is that the Supreme Court surprisingly upheld their ruling of cutting out SNAP program. They are not going to approve the release of program because they feel that the House and the Senate will come together on a budget, and that means if the government comes back together, the SNAP program will automatically be put back in place.
All right, Norman, it is very fascinating that you are very much updated, and I know Washington time is now 4 a.m. in the morning. Very
Yes.
fascinating and very thankful that you are so updated. Let us look at South Asia. Many things happening here. On 10th November 2025, a car exploded near the historic Red Fort metro station in Delhi, killing at least 8 people and injuring around 20. Investigators found samples of 2 different types of explosives at the scene along with live cartridges. The blast is being treated as a possible terrorist attack under India's stringent anti-terror law, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. According to the Indian article, the government has pledged to bring the preparators to justice. Sir, I just want to know, you have huge experience on this. You are a military professional, Air Force professional. Sir, how credible is the link between the blast and organized militant networks according to domestic or cross-border connections?
Well, it would be too early to say about cross-border connection, but the fact is that this is a terrorist act is apparent, because the car was left there with the explosives, and probably with a timer it exploded at a time when that place is going to be very busy. They have chosen that area outside the Red Fort, and you see there is a mosque over there, the historic Delhi mosque, Juma mosque, and the place is always crowded, especially in the evening. So they chose the time and place to get also the most attention. So 10 people, about 20 people are injured. Some of them are badly injured in here. But by the time it's been more than nearly 36 hours, and in between 4 people have been arrested. The owner of the car, and he has been traced, and there are 4 people, including a female doctor. I think there are 2 doctors who have been, and they all work in one hospital, which has also been connected. And meanwhile, they have searched the residences, and they found out hundreds of tons of kilograms of not necessarily explosives but chemicals, which can be used as an explosive device. And probably the car that was exploded also carried some of those explosive products. Yes, some of the chemicals which can be used, which is used as a fertilizer, but when it is connected with a programmer, with petroleum jelly and all, then it can be used as a bomb, and it does create a lot of it. So that means there was a plan for creating more explosions. But anyway, they have arrested. But what happens is that in these cases, always there is finger pointing towards Pakistan.
Right.
Well, it could be, it may not be. There has not been nothing has been established. But the fact is that they all come, all 4 people, they come, including the lady, comes from Kashmir. And that Pulwama, if you remember, the major attack that happened about 3 to 4 years back in Pulwama, before Pahalgam, the Pulwama attack, which had the terrorists, they targeted a truck carrying the CRPF, and I don't know, about 20 plus people were killed, the
right.
soldiers were killed. So it is the same place, definitely at Kashmiri militant organizations, but if it has got connection with Pakistan, that is another story.
Right, sir. When New Delhi is blaming Pakistani proxies for the attack in New Delhi, at the same time Pakistan started to claim for another reason. A suicide bombing at a court complex in Islamabad killed 12 people and injured more than 30. Pakistan has accused Indian proxies of involvement, escalating tensions with India. Why this is so important right this moment? Back-to-back attack in New Delhi and in Islamabad. We need to discuss about this. If it adds fresh strain to regional security dynamics in South Asia, where Pakistan and India relations are already fragile. I want to include Norman. Norman, you heard both the incidents. Suicide bomb attack in Pakistani court in Islamabad and car bomb blast in New Delhi. Is a very busy area, as you are hearing from our commentator. Air Commander Ishfaq Elahi Chaudhry. What do you think, as a long time experienced journalist, diplomat and peace negotiator, do you find it is a symptom of again misunderstanding between these two rival countries, these two atomic countries, these two nuclear powers in South Asia? Norman.
Yes, I would like to say that this is a more of a region.
Lost.
Probably for some reason, technical
Is
reason.
now being Taliban.
Yes, go
the
ahead.
Taliban
Go ahead,
and
sir.
other people.
Go ahead, sir.
Yes, yes. The Taliban, other groups are now feared to be involved in this. We are seeing a cross-border coordinated effect in terms of both of the incidents we just recently seen. It appears that they are communicating and they're talking and they are planning these events to affect the governments. So we are now watching and see how these things develop. My fear is that we have not seen the last of these type of coordinated events because of the dynamics of what's going on globally and the presence of these radical groups, poverty, and we have a lot of youth unemployed, have nothing to do.
All right. As here is the expert, sir, I want to get a connection between these two incidents at the gap of 19 hours. One is in India's capital, one is in Pakistan capital, and both the country accusing each other. How do you see these new tensions?
Basically, I would say these are our escapist mentality. They must recognize, Pakistan and India must recognize that there is a live, terror situation exists in their own country. Kashmir, for example, has been burning for years together, and despite all the claim that is made by Indian government that we have brought in progress and there has been new economic incentives and economy, the basic question remains that the voice of the Kashmiri people are not heard, okay, and many of them have opted for terrorism. But the interesting thing here is that all the fours who have been arrested, they are doctors and I think they are all established people. It's not that they are frustrated, jobless, which is a very dangerous sign, is because that means the rising tension is not only within the underprivileged, jobless people, but it's also among the professionals. That means there are these radicalization processes going on, and the Indian government must recognize it. One of the things, it is not only within the Kashmir area, the whole of Indian Muslim community today is marginalized more than ever before, especially under the present BJP administration, which is going on for more than a decade. The Muslims representation in administration, in diplomacy, in military, in government jobs, everywhere it is falling. The number, the situation that was 30 years back or 45 years back or at the time of partition, that has come down like anything. So there is a sense of frustration. The hospital that they were showing on the television is in Ghaziabad, which is just outside Delhi. So that is a Muslim dominated this UP area, but they have no political claim, you see. They are not represented in the government. So this is something which Indian government and the Indian people have to address. If you really want to have a democratic government functioning, then you have to bring in all the communities, all the religion and into the mainstream, and nobody should be left behind. Now on the Pakistan side, again the question is essentially Pakistani. The Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, is an offshoot of the Taliban who had been nurtured, trained, weaponized by the government of Pakistan, especially the ISI, for nearly 2 decades, and now they have gone back to power.
Yes.
Now, after going back to power, they don't want to recognize the Pakhtunkhwa as a part of Pakistan. In fact, every government since 1947 in Afghanistan, they have claimed that all the land on the west bank of Indus, which includes the Pakhtunkhwa province, also some parts of northern Balochistan, Quetta included, those are parts of Afghanistan which the British government had seized them after fighting 2-3 wars. So, and forced them to sign that. Now that their argument is that now that both Pakistan and India, Afghanistan are independent countries, they would like to have their claim back. And things worsened because of two things. One is that Pakistan started doing a barbed wire fencing along the this Afghanistan-Pakistan border, mainly to stop all sorts of infiltration. But the Taliban government doesn't agree. They said that for ages together we have been historically connected and our people have been crossing all this time. Why is this fencing? And second thing is that the nearly 2 million or 3 million Afghan refugees who are there in Afghanistan, who are Afghan refugees who are in Pakistan, they have asked them to leave immediately. So where will they go? Afghanistan itself is a very impoverished country. So all these people are being forced to get out, and that has also created a lot of tension. So there is an hot situation in the border. Right. But again, when I was listening to the Pakistan television, they always say it is the Indian agents,
But I have the different version from Pakistan's defense ministry right this moment, ladies and gentlemen. Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan TTP suicide bombing in Islamabad. Defense Ministry of Pakistan has released their opinion. Let me tell you the story first. On 11th November 2025, a suicide bomber detonated outside a court complex in Pakistan, killing 12 people and injuring 27. I repeated the information to understand the depth of the discussion. Pakistan Defense Minister declared the country in a state of war after the attack. It is a new development. Pakistan accuses militants sheltered in Afghanistan and possibly backed by external actors. Ladies and gentlemen, you will have to understand what does it mean, external actors. Pakistan Defense Ministry pointed their finger to the Indian proxies of carrying out attacks via the TTP. Afghanistan directly denies the claims, sir. Huge development. What are the implications of this attack reaching Pakistan's capital rather than remote militant zones, as you are telling about the Jammu and Kashmir areas or Pakhtunkhwa, for Pakistani domestic security policy?
This shows despite all the precautions that you might take, if the terrorists have local support, they will always get in, and because they are politically motivated, they are ideologically motivated, and it is true for both India and Pakistan or any other country. If you just can't solve all the problems militarily by the use of force. You have to get into the depth and remove the causes that gives rise to this. So in case of India, as I told you, the marginalization of the whole Muslim community in India, the sense of deprivation that the Muslims have, and especially in Kashmir, where they have disturbed the Modi government has disturbed they've changed the constitution, Article 370, which gave a lot of autonomy to Kashmiri government. That has been eliminated, and then the Ladakh has been taken out of Kashmir and has been declared as a separate entity. Now, same in Pakistan, you see the sense of, as I explained to you, that if they can reach Islamabad, they can reach the military headquarters also. There is another development there. After this one, there has been an attack on the cadet college, which is a military run college in a town known as Wana, which is in Pakhtunkhwa, in a remote small town. Now, they had come with a vehicle, explosive laden vehicle. They broke the main gate, and 5 militants entered, and for nearly more than 24 hours they kept the place under their occupation. Luckily, where the students were staying, about 400 cadets were staying, they could escape from there with the help of the military, but the militants, 5 of them, they hold themselves up in the official building, and they were ultimately they have been killed. So that means they can launch simultaneous attacks in different parts of the country.
Yes, sir.
This is very, they can declare war, the state of war. They have already, Pakistan Air Force had bombed Afghanistan a number of times, and even their capital has been bombed, but that will not end the cycle of violence.
Exactly, sir. Exactly, sir. Let me take the Norman's take on this. Norman has the experience to serve as ambassador and peace negotiator and a political commentator. Norman, as you heard, Pakistan Defence Minister declared the country in a state of war after this attack, and Pakistan accuses militants sheltered in Afghanistan and possibly backed by external actors. Pakistan directly fingered to New Delhi, I mean Indian proxies. My question would be for you, how credible are the Pakistani government's claims of external state sponsorship by Afghanistan or India in this particular incidents, Norman?
Yes, first thing, let me address the issue about the state of war. Because of the incidents, the opportunity, the option of negotiation has been taken off the table. There's high pressure by the people to have a military response. There is claims, actually highly credible claims from the United Nations and their reports that Afghan Taliban provide sanctuary for these terrorists, so they can provide a safe sanctuary, so they can basically plan, organize, and initiate these attacks. So we have a real issue in this region right now. It looks and appears like a military response is imminent.
All right, Norman, I just framed a different question which relates to a military professional. He was Air Force top official since long time in Bangladesh, now retired, and academician, expert on international affairs. Sir, how should Pakistan balance military operations versus negotiations with insurgent groups like the TTP?
There has been attempts to bring them to the negotiating table, but it has failed again and again. And you see these sort of incidents that where the civilians are killed and right in the capital, the public opinion and the media hype that is created, the public opinion is created, and you see, in order to save their face, the military must respond while keeping the door or negotiations open. The government in Pakistan today is also not a popularly elected government, in the sense that the one who was most popular, the incumbent Prime Minister Imran Khan, and he's in the jail. He's in the jail, and he's from Pakhtunkhwa, and he has a lot of support from that province. But he's in the jail, and the coalition that is running Pakistan is a discredited government. They have been in the power in the past. Today they are on this side, tomorrow they keep on changing sides there. Though basically everybody thinks that it is the Pakistan military that runs at the administration.
Yes.
Especially since Field Marshal Munir, who was made Field Marshal after the last clash, 4 days war with India, although the war was fought basically by the Air Force, but somehow or other army managed to get the promotion. And not only that, only day 4, I think it's about 3 or 4 days back, they have brought in certain changes in the structures of the military, where the army chief, there will be a field marshal, and who will be heading all the command decisions. Air Force and Navy will be subordinate to him, and virtually he can, without bypassing the central government, he can go to war. That sort of situation. Now that is like a country being run by the military. Well, some people might say, well, Pakistan has always been run by the military, but now it is more open than any time in the past.
Right, sir.
So I think there is a lot of trouble ahead.
Very nicely described a complex question into a very easy way to understand. I really appreciate, sir. I want to include again Norman, because Norman, it is a South Asian region, and your President Donald Trump already claimed in different times that he has been able to stop the 4 days war between Pakistan and India. Now Afghanistan have been included. I want to do a question on this plot. What role does Afghanistan's current Taliban regime play in enabling or countering militant cross-border operations? Because the Pakistan government cleared and firm reaction declaring a state of war signals that it takes these threats very seriously and could lead to sharper actions against militant hideouts. Do you think there is a possibility of clash between Afghanistan and Pakistan based on these new tensions?
Yes, my response to that is yes. There's credible information that there will be a response. Basically, my sources telling me there must be a response. To what level that is, I have no idea. It is felt that the Taliban, the Afghan Taliban regime, they are enabling this situation to happen. And when I say that, I mean they are basically complacent. They have not made any efforts to counter or to restrict as promised. They viewed as allowing this to happen, open the door and providing a safe haven for these planners to put this process together. So it appears that they failed to their commitment, and this is actually allows the governments to feel like they have no recourse but a military one. So let's watch and see what happens, but it appears to be trouble in the area.
Yes, I really appreciate Norman. Norman is very well connected, sir. Sometimes I was following the international medias, but before that, Norman's text comes to my phone that this news is going to be break in a few seconds. You just watch. I'm very impressed, and for the audience, we want to say that Norman is very well respected journalist in Washington DC. He covers for SATV, White House, Oval Office, left wing, right wing, Congress, Senate, and also entire United States domestic politics. He has keen eyes and connections on both Democratic Party and Republican Party. Ladies and gentlemen, time has come to go for a short commercial break, but we have a very important topics here, and we have a very relevant panelist here, Sir Ishfaq Elahi Chaudhry. I want to discuss rising terrorism, radicalization in South Asia and its broader implications.
সারা দেশে লাখো মানুষের কঠোর কর্মতৎপরতা ও নিষ্ঠায় এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন 16 কোটি মানুষের হাতের নাগালে। দীর্ঘ 30 বছর ধরে বিশ্বস্ততা ও দ্রুততার সাথে সেবা দেওয়ায় গ্রাহক সেবায় এখন শীর্ষে। বাংলাদেশে গ্রাহক সেবার সাফল্যের পর এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস এখন বিশ্ব বাণিজ্য কেন্দ্র সিঙ্গাপুরে। আপনার যে কোনো পণ্য সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে বাংলাদেশে বুকিংয়ের জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন। এসএ পরিবহন প্রাইভেট লিমিটেড, লজিস্টিক্স পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, 22 রবার্টস লেন, সিঙ্গাপুর 218302। ফোন 0065 629 24900। বাংলাদেশ থেকে সিঙ্গাপুরে পণ্য বুকিংয়ের জন্য যোগাযোগ করুন ঢাকা সহ দেশের যে কোনো ৮০টি শাখা কেন্দ্রে। এসএ পরিবহন পার্সেল অ্যান্ড কুরিয়ার সার্ভিস, আপনার সেবা সব সময়।
In the studio, let me welcome our international affairs commentator Shamsul Alam Pantho. Sir, very welcome to the studio. At this moment, the hot seat is really in tension because we need to discuss something about the rising terrorism, radicalization in South Asia and its broader implications, because you have heard already two back-to-back incidents in New Delhi and also in Pakistan, Islamabad, sir. There is a growing surge in militant attacks in insurgent activities in South Asia, particularly in Pakistan's broader regions, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, which sir is telling, and Balochistan, and increasingly targeting major urban centers. On the other side, the narratives of cross-border sanctuaries, proxy warfare, state acquisition and sponsoring militants in retaliatory strikes in intensifying among India, Pakistan and Afghanistan. I have framed a question for you: how effective are current regional collaborative frameworks, India versus Pakistan, Pakistan versus Afghanistan, and also India versus Pakistan versus Afghanistan, or multilateral in countering terrorism? What reforms are required at this stage?
Thank you so much, Mr. Kanchan. Of course, welcoming Air Commodore Ishfaq Ilahi on the program, as well as good afternoon to my viewers. According to your question, we know that there has been a bomb blast in the capital of India, New Delhi, near the Red Fort. It was not looked sought towards, but at that very moment, the Prime Minister of India was in Bhutan. Just for clarification, immediately afterwards, we see a similar pattern of attack inside Islamabad. The police vehicle, from what I understand, I saw the footage, went up in flames, and it had claimed the lives of 12 people, injuring those at least 27 people. Regional collaboration is far away from any kind of question right now. At this moment, we see retaliatory statements, even after understanding a ceasefire between Afghanistan and, of course, Pakistan. At this moment, we understand that Pakistan is trying to face not only the Kashmir issue on the Indian side, but on the other side, we have Afghanistan and its various terrorist organizations that operate in both countries. The goal for these organizations is to cripple the running economy so that there may be total chaos in the region. Similarly, so if you look at Sudan, you have North Sudan and South Sudan, a breakaway of two different parties. You have the Sudanese armed forces, while you have the rapid support forces, the RSF, on the other side. Eventually, what will happen is, because the lack of these collaboration frameworks that you were mentioning, if that is not there, it will be turning into a situation like Sudan as we see in the modern time.
Oh, very well articulated. I want to include again Norman. Norman, you know, the Pakistan military chief, Field Marshal Asif Munir, has a very good tie-up with your President Donald Trump. He has visited in 3 months 3 times to Washington and had a wonderful lunch and dinner with President Trump. My question would be, do you really think United States or United States State Department will have a very clear guideline for these 3 countries' new tensions?
At this time, I'm unsure. And the reason for that is initially I would say yes. That is, they made a commitment to work with Pakistan, and they have interest in the region, and they want trade and commerce to continue and the confrontation to end. But the situation here in this country, the United States, with the budget, the Congress, and how the public is really feeling about the Trump administration brings a lot of doubt. The problem now is the United States and its people and its government is in an internal battle to find out what their identity is. They are fighting with each other, and that means they are basically putting everything that is not United States urgent to the table, to the side. Yes, we'll be watching, they'll be monitoring, but the response action would probably be limited if any. Internal issues are such right now, it's very difficult to justify any type of action outside of the United States.
All right, Norman, there is a time limitation, so we will be connecting you again. I always do the difficult question to the specialist, the expert. Here is Ishfaq Elahi Chaudhary, sir. Sir, what are the structural drivers behind this renewed surge in terrorism in South Asia in terms of economics, ideology, geography, governance? Would you please explain to us?
Well, there are certain, right now, there are many things happening which actually give rise to the terrorism and radicalism in any country. And one of them is, for example, governance. The governance, both in India, Pakistan, and also in Bangladesh,
Yes.
is not at all up to the standard. A huge majority of people, they are of the opinion that the state has failed them. State has not been able to deliver the governance that anyone they expect from the government. Okay, despite paying tax, despite being a citizen of a country, many of them are what they call disenfranchised. Okay, and as in the previous segment I talked about the in case of India, although the democracy is working, but a large part of the minority community, especially the Muslims, have over the years, because of the BJP's pro-Hindutva policy, they are marginalized and they think that they are today deprived of some of the basic privileges that a nation, the citizen needs to have. For example, I've said that over the last 3 decades, the Muslims in India have lost ground as far as their other communities concerned. They are not represented in the military, they are not represented in the cabinet even, and in the diplomacy, in the administration, everywhere. So that gives rise to the tension. Similarly, there are other minorities in various, there is almost a civil war going on in Manipur. There is a lot of problem in the south between the states and within the states. And Pakistan, of course, is almost on the verge of collapse, and that collapse, if at all it happens, it's very more dangerous because they have then atomic weapons there. We don't know who's controlling. Is it the Prime Minister, the President, or the Field Marshal who controls the weapons? So these weapons falling into the wrong hands is also a big danger. As far as Bangladesh is concerned, I can tell you that over the last decade or so, or even more, there has been a slow rise of militancy or radicalization in the country, where the secular democratic forces are on the retreat or on the being sidelined by the extremist religious organizations. And within the you see, we call ourselves 90% Muslims, but we never had in the past the type of incidents that we have seen over the last few years, fight between Shias and Sunnis, and between the people who would go to the mazar and who would not go to the mazar. There are certain, various issues have divided the society, and through this sort of division, those who are out to take benefits, they emerge, and this is evident in our society also. And there is also the possibility that the militant organizations which are operating maybe in India or in Pakistan or globally, they always have an interlink, their communication, and because of the easy availability of communication, they can communicate with each other. And for example, we have a number of people who died in Tehreek-e-Taliban.
Yeah.
That holy artisan is long back. Just recently,
Yes.
there were people fighting the Pakistan army in Pakhtunkhwa for the Tehreek-e-Taliban, and they died. And we don't know. Their parents don't know. Parents think that they have gone to Dubai or Abu Dhabi or something like that, but they are actually in the hills of Pakhtunkhwa or Afghanistan. So these people are traveling there, and this can put the country government very embarrassed, you see, this sort of thing happens, when this sort of things happen. So we have to be very cautious.
Exactly,
In Bangladesh is a relatively small player in these things, but our government and our society, our schools and colleges have to guard against all this rising radicalism.
According to your concern, I just want to give one recommendation which I have just received. Then I will do a question regarding Bangladesh. Sir has raised some dangerous militancy issues here. Sir, broader attention may prompt integrated regional strategies, sharing intelligence, joint training, harmonized legal frameworks.
We are far from away.
Yes, sir.
We had started our SARC long time back. It is limping. It was limping, and now it is dead. You see,
yes,
nobody
sir.
talks. So
yes, of course, sir. I agree. I totally
work.
agree. Which have been lacking but are demanded by the scale of the threat. Sir, my question would be related to Bangladesh. How can smaller states or countries in the region like Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, Bhutan be proactive in preventing spillover of militant activity, radicalization and foreign terrorist fighters?
Thank you so much, Mr. Kansal, for the question. If you look at Bangladesh, we need to understand border sovereignty for our country. On one side, we have the Rohingya influx coming in what I know is to be as a result of ethnic cleansing in the Rakhine state. So that is an element that our forces must also consider. On the other side, we see that recent times in the Bangladeshi local news, we also see some force trying to destabilize our capital city, calling in for a lockdown, calling in for a shutdown, regardless of whatever this may be. In the last 24 to 48 hours, we've seen many instances of crude bomb going off in various locations around Dhaka city. These are some of the things that, of course, Ishfaq Ilahi sir was talking about the radical militancy issue. But once again, if you look at our neighborhood, we have Pakistan, we have Afghanistan, we have India, we have China. These countries outnumber us in various fronts. If they all have space programs, they have enough resources to go to space. That is one. This is only one example. On the other hand, of course, the weaponry that they hold are far advanced than what we have in Bangladesh. These comparisons must be drawn to understand how we are going to protect this 4,000-kilometer border that we share with our neighborhoods. We still do not have a nuclear deterrence issue coming up, but to my knowledge, Pakistan is one of those countries that are nuclear armed. We have Iran that is also nuclear armed. We have China that is also nuclear. Our neighborhood is quite so armed. But if you look at Bangladesh, friendship to all, allies to none, that is still the policy after 54 years of after independence. But we must understand that as our neighborhoods are also facing these domestic terrorist threats, we should also consider how to safeguard our nation.
Excellent, sir. Time has come to go for a short commercial break, but last 3-4 days, I have been watching in almost all international medias like Al Jazeera, CNBC, NBC, CNN, BBC, that they are focusing Bangladesh is at the highest risk of climate change issues. So we need to discuss about the COP30 2025 UN climate conference held in Belém, Brazil, near the Amazon.
Grand Palace Hotel, Dhaka. A majestic lobby blending timeless elegance with modern design. Experience 5-star comfort in suites and rooms. Sophisticated fine dining restaurant. Crystal clear swimming pool for ultimate relaxation. Modern gym and serene spa for well-being. Perfect venue for corporate events, weddings and parties. Seamless and secured. Elegant and eye-catching design. Indulge, relax, discover the first 5-star chain hotels in Bangladesh. Grand Palace Hotel Dhaka, 22 Kakrail, Dhaka, Bangladesh.
Welcome to Grand Club at Mirpur 10, Dhaka.
The 38th COP 30 conference began in Belém, Brazil, with a small island states demanding the world honor the 1.5 degree centigrade warming limit, and protest inside the venue signaling growing impatience with climate diplomacy. I just want to do the first question to our international affairs commentator Shamsul Alam Panto, because he is following this event very, very closely. Sir, what are the most realistic outcomes to expect from COP 30 given current geopolitical divisions?
Thank you so much, Mr. Kanchan. Of course, having a meeting of nations or leaders of various nations to come to a meeting should fare with some realistic results. Every time they talk about healing the ozone layer, about the 1.5 degrees Celsius change in the weather, and this time around it is near Brazil. It's in the Amazon rainforest, or significantly closer to the Amazon rainforest. But this time around, according to CNN World, we see natives of those in the Amazon rainforest is fighting with security at the venue of this event that is happening. And during the break, you were telling me how it is a reoccurring issue. People do not give enough attention to the fact that climate change has drastic effects not only in our country or in our region, but all over the world. The Amazon rainforest, if you look at it, it is one of the greatest rainforests in the whole planet. It is the reason for oxygen creation in that part of the world. We do not have something like that in anywhere else across the planet. Of course, if you look at this event, what are the outcomes? Who will respond? Nations such as United States of America think climate change is a bogus hoax. So if a leader of the most powerful nation thinks that way, it's the dangerous times that we are living in.
All right, sir. According to your statement, I want to do a question to Ishfaq Elahi sir, because US is absent in this seminar, in this conference. How significant is the absence or limited participation of major emitters, especially United States, for global climate governance? I want to add one more question to you as we are running out of time. How can developing countries ensure their needs, adaptation, finance, loss and damage are addressed to this forum, sir?
It is very sad, as was pointed out, that if the one who claims to be the leader of the
World.
global world, you see, and he says that these are scientific hoax, and he doesn't believe, and not only that, he opens up new oil fields, he opens up new gas fields, and he gives incentive to the drillers and miners who are mining these things, you see, and he calls it patriotic act. Then where do we go, you see? Right now, for example, Bangladesh is we have a claim of billions of dollars from those emitters, because it's the poorest of the poor who suffer. In Bangladesh, you see, over the years, the salinity has increased, the global warming, because of global warming, the glaciers are drying up, which means that our rivers are drying up, and when the rivers dry up, the seawater enters, and there has been a huge migration of people from the coastal areas of Bangladesh to the capital city. They have lost everything. So, you see, it gives rise immense pressure on our government, on our society, on our planning. So, we have to this is only, I am talking about Bangladesh. So, there are other people who are also suffering, and most of the suffering are done by the poor countries and the poorest of the poor who suffer.
Absolutely.
So, but unfortunately, you see, because United States itself officially went out of it, many of the European countries will also not be responding the way that they could have responded, and we have a dark future not only for poor countries, but we have a dark future for the humanity. The existence of humanity in the long run is at stake, actually.
Right, sir. Let's take the speech from Norman. We are connected again. We are very sorry for the disconnections. as you are hearing, Norman, that a country like United States is absent, and United States President is directly bullying to the importance of COP conference. Would you please let us know why United States, world's most superpower country economically, militarily, and according to the administration, would you please let us know why United States is not giving importance to the climate issues?
This question, I can best answer by this. The interest of the United States is not in including climate control. There's some lawmakers, some administrators believe that there is no such thing as climate change. The fact that the United States has decided not to attend COP30 is of high significance. It shows that basically we really don't care that much about it. Unfortunately, the United States is the powerhouse of the world. We have the capital, we have the technology, we have the historical responsibility. But by not attending this, it gives the impression that it's not that important. And it also allows the other big countries, China, India, and whoever, Brazil, not to really take this thing very serious. Yeah, we're going to do it, but the United States not involved in it. So I can just, I can say, yeah, but I don't really have to do anything because I really don't have any political pressure or anything else going on. So I can just basically just relax and let this thing go on and be political and not be responsible.
I can see the impression, a facial impression of our international affairs commentator. I'm sure he has a counter on the statement you have given to a national TV like SATV.
Well, thank you, Mr. Kanchan. I was hearing Norman Floyd Barnes on the narrative that the current administration does not feel that climate change is important or has global importance. But it is a matter of time before they understand that burning crude oil and having big engine cars in the America running day and night, it will have an effect in the ozone layer. Administration must address the fact that it is now damaging not only United States of America, but every other community around the globe.
Right, sir. Gentlemen, we are running out of time, but I have one important issue to get. Whenever I get Ishfaq Elahi, sir, I just love to talk about this, sir. Time is running. Rohingya community or Rakhine community, there is a new problem we are gazing as a journalist, may come, may pressure by Western world for these two communities, Rakhine and Rohingyas.
Well, we have the suffered here again, because we are hosting about now it is 1.2 million, going to be very soon 1.3 billion. It is more than the population of say for example Bhutan, which is almost 1/3 the size of Bangladesh, and these 1.1 million people are concentrated in few square miles of Cox's Bazar. So we have to there is a question of their repatriation. It has been lingering for years together. We did not get the attention the way it deserves, neither from China, nor from India, nor from United States, nor from Russia. So as if it is our burden and we have to carry it on. Government is trying, but frankly speaking, because of all these issues that has come up over the years, Ukraine war, Gaza conflict, now the Sudan and the international terror, now the Rohingya issue is unfortunately in the backdrop. Just this today we had a seminar where they are talking about prosperous Arakan. If Arakan state can be, new investment can come in there, and there is a lot of scope for that. They have the soil, they have the minerals and all. And if both the communities can be persuaded to live peacefully within their areas, in fact, not only Myanmar itself will be benefited, all these communities will be benefited. That's another way of looking at it.
Thank you so much, Ishfaq Elahi Chaudhry sir and Shamsul Alam Panthu, our international affairs commentators. Special thanks goes to Norman Flatt Barnes, SATV's geopolitical correspondent based in Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, see you tomorrow.